Hi friends, thank you very much for clicking ABC Learning English Solution. Friends, today on this podcast we are gonna discuss about the types of sentences. Friends, according to the function, the sentences are divided into 5 parts. That is assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative and exclamatory. These are the 5 different parts. It shows the purpose of the sentence, shows the function of the sentence. But my dear friend, according to the structure, the sentences are divided basically in 3 parts. That means according to the structure. So according to the structure, the sentences are divided into 3 parts. One is called simple, another one is complex and another one is compound. Actually, my dear friends, there is another part which is called complex compound, or it can be called compound complex, or even it can be called mixed sentences. But basically it is divided into 3 parts. Today we are gonna focus on this section. That means the division or classification of sentences according to the structure. My dear friends, first of all, I would like to say you something about clause, because this part is very much important here. Clause means a part of a sentence which includes or which contains a subject and a finite verb. There may be object or there may be the other words, but these are not so important. The important thing is that there must be a subject and a finite verb. Finite verb means tense verb. Now, my dear friends, each and every clause there must be a subject and a finite verb. Now this clause may be dependent or may be independent. Dependent means the clause or this part, subject, finite verb, other words or not, that's not matter. That means the subject and the finite verb can stand itself. That means it can convey a particular meaning. If this part can convey a particular meaning, at that time it is called principal clause. I'm just gonna give you one example. Look at this one. Ram is a boy. Look, my dear friends, here Ram is the subject, is the verb. Basically it's the linking verb. So here it is the main verb, or you can say the tense verb. If we try to write down in past tense, we can change it. But according to this sentence, it is not meaningful. So the sentence is Ram is a boy. So here there is a subject, there is a main verb or finite verb, and this is the other word. This is not the object. Basically this is a complement, but this part is not so important. We are not going to discuss about this part right now. Here the main thing is that there must be a subject and a finite verb, and in this sentence we are getting this one. So obviously it can stand itself. That means it can convey a particular meaning. So my dear friends, the Ram is a boy, we can put down a full stop over here because it has a complete sense. So this part will be called a principal clause, or it can be called a main clause, or it can be called an independent clause. That's not a matter. All these things are same. So it can convey a particular meaning. That's why it can be called this one. Now, my dear friends, if we try to extend this sentence in this way, I am writing down some other words here. Ram is a boy who reads in class 4. reads in class 4. Here, my dear friends, you can see this part is having subject and verb, so it's a clause and it has a complete sense, so it's a principal clause. But here look at this one, this is the subject here. Basically, my dear friends, this is a relative pronoun, or sometimes it is relative adverb, whatever it may be, and you know these may be used as the subject. Who, this term who, it is also an interrogative pronoun, but here it is acting like a subordinating conjunction. And it can be used as a subject of a sentence. So this is the subject and this is the verb. We are getting, as per our requirement, the subject and the verb. So obviously it's a clause, and my dear friends, this clause does not have the complete sense. If we write down only who reads in class 4, it cannot convey a complete sense. It means it is dependent upon some others. Dependent upon some others means dependent upon the principal clause. If we go through the entire sentence, Ram is a boy who reads in class 4, from this section it is clear the meaning of the sentence. Here, my dear friends, you can understand this is the boy. The name of this boy is Ram and he reads in class 4. It's a clear statement and you can understand about the entire sentence. But my dear friends, this part is entirely dependent upon this one. So it is called independent. So it is called dependent clause, or sometimes it is called subordinate clause, whatever it may be called, subordinate clause or dependent clause. It means a dependent clause always dependent upon the principal clause. Or we can say the principal clause can stand itself, but the dependent clause cannot stand itself. Always it has to take the help of the principal clause. My dear friends, this part is very much important for understanding simple, complex and compound sentences. I'm just gonna give you example. You can look at this. Friends, we are gonna discuss about the simple sentence. In a simple sentence, there must be one subject and one finite verb. Only one subject and one finite verb. If in a sentence you can see there is only one subject and one finite verb, there may be the other words, object or complement, but that's not so important. If there is a subject and finite verb, we can call it a simple sentence, just like this one. Just like this one. He plays football. He plays football. Here he is the subject, plays is the finite verb, this is the object. There may be some other words, maybe adverbs, maybe just like this one, in the evening or in the field, whatever it may be. These are all adverbs. These are not so important. Even this object is not so important. So there is subject and finite verb. So obviously it has a complete sense. It can be called as a simple sentence. My dear friends, this is the basic concept of simple sentence. In a sentence, in an entire sentence, if you see, my dear friends, there are more than one finite verb. More than one finite verb or more than one subjects. You can count the subject and the finite verb and you can say how many clauses are there. If in a sentence you can see there are two finite verbs and two subjects, two subject and two finite verbs, you can say that there are two clauses. If there are three subjects, three finite verbs, you can say there are three clauses. My dear friends, in a simple sentence, there must be only one subject and one finite verb. This is the most important thing, and obviously it will be a principal clause. It will be a principal clause. That means simple sentence means there will be only one principal clause. Only one principal clause. My dear friends, I think the idea of simple sentence is clear to you. Now think about the complex sentence. Friends, complex sentence means there will be one principal clause and there will be one subordinate clause or dependent clause. That means one principal clause and one subordinate or dependent clause. Just like this one, I have given you this example. Ram is a boy who reads in class 4. Here, my dear friends, you can see there is Ram is a boy. This is the principal clause. And who reads in class 4? This is the subordinate clause. So you can see only there is one principal clause and one subordinate clause. My dear friends, these types of sentences are called complex sentence. So in a complex sentence, there will be only one principal clause and one subordinate clause. It means, my dear friends, there must be two subjects and two verbs. Here you can see one subject, one verb. Again you can see another one subject, another one verb. So two subjects are there, two verbs are there. But this part is dependent upon the principal clause. These types of sentences are called complex sentence. My dear friends, complex sentence may be formed in three different ways. That means this is the principal part and the subordinate part may be a noun clause, maybe an adjective clause, or maybe an adverb clause. Now, what's the meaning of noun clause? Actually, my dear friends, you can understand the entire dependent clause. And the entire dependent clause acts like a part of speech. Acts like a part of speech. The entire clause acts like a part of speech. If it acts like a noun, it will be called noun clause. If it acts like an adjective, it will be called adjective clause. If it acts like an adverb, it will be called adverb clause. Here in this sentence, you can say Ram is a boy who reads in class 4. My dear friends, you can see from this sentence, you can understand this part, this dependent part is saying something about the boy, or you can say about Ram. That means this entire part is modifying or saying something special about a boy. That means giving you some extra information about a noun. So it is the duty of the adjective. So obviously it's an adjective clause. In this way, my dear friends, in complex sentence, there may be three types: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverbial clause. By using these three clauses, we can form complex sentence. Later on, we'll discuss all these things individually. That's not a problem. Now think about the compound sentence. My dear friends, in complex sentence, there must be one principal clause and one or more subordinate clause. This is the most important thing. There may be one, there may be two, there may be three, whatever it may be. If there is only one principal clause and at least one subordinate clause, that will be called complex sentence. This is the structure of complex sentence, and between these two parts, there must be a subordinating conjunction. Most of the time, this acts like the subject of this subordinating clause. There are so many subordinating conjunctions in English language, you know it. And this is the structure of complex sentence. Now think about the compound sentence. My dear friends, in compound sentence, there must be one principal clause plus another one principal clause. That means there must be two principal clauses, and between these two principal clauses there must be a coordinating conjunction. I am writing down in the short form coordinating conjunction, CC. Coordinating conjunction. Now, my dear friends, you can understand the meaning of this part. Principal clause, principal clause. Here it is principal clause. That means there must be a subject and verb. And here also there must be a subject and verb. That means both of these parts are not dependent. That means they can convey a complete sense. They can convey a complete sense. This part also can convey a complete sense. My dear friends, you can understand this structure. Now, what is coordinating conjunction? My dear friends, if you want to remember this coordinating conjunction, it's better to memorize only this acronym, fanboys. Fanboys. If you can remember this one, it will be very easier for you to remember the coordinating conjunctions. Here F means for. Here F means for. A means and. N means nor. B means but. O means or. Y means yet. And S means so. My dear friends, these are called coordinating conjunction. And these coordinating conjunctions always join two separate clauses, two separate principal clauses. Here you can see this is the structure of the complex sentence. And the complex sentence takes one coordinating conjunction between these two clauses. I am just going to give you one example. Let's look at this. My dear friends, Ram went to school. He studied hard. Look at these sentences. There are basically two sentences. One is Ram went to school and he studied hard. Here look at this part. This is the subject, this is the verb. We are not considering about this section. This is the subject, this is the verb. Here in this sentence, this is the subject, this is the verb. So there are two subjects and two verbs, finite verbs, and both of these are independent. That means these are not dependent upon one another. It can convey a particular sense, it also can convey a particular sense. These types of sentences are joined by using coordinating conjunction, just like fanboys. Look at this sentence. We are writing down Ram went to school and studied hard. Friends, here you can see Ram is the subject of both of these verbs. Here we can write down he, but my dear friends, now it's a single sentence. In a single sentence, we should not repeat the same word. That's why it should be omitted. So the sentence will be Ram went to school and studied hard. That means Ram went to school and Ram studied hard. Here two principal clauses are joined by using coordinating conjunction and. My dear friends, it's a compound sentence. Compound sentence. That means there must be two principal clauses, and these two principal clauses must be joined by a coordinating conjunction. If this is the structure, at that time it will be called a compound sentence. My dear friends, there is another type which is called complex compound. Let's look at this. Friends, complex compound or compound complex or mixed, whatever you can say, that's not a problem. In this type of sentences, there must be two principal clauses and one or more, it may be 2, 3, one or more subordinate clause. This is the structure of complex compound or mixed sentences. I'm just going to give you one example. Let's look at this. I'm using the same sentence. Look at this. Ram, who was 10 years old. Who was 10 years old, went to school, and studied hard. Look at this sentence, my dear friend. Here, Ram went to school. This is one clause, and Ram studied hard. This is another principal clause. This is one principal clause. This is one principal clause, and this part, who was 10 years old, this is a subordinating clause. This part is saying something about this boy, Ram, who was 10 years old. So here you can see one principal clause, there is another principal clause. That means two principal clause and one subordinate clause. These types of sentences are called complex compound or compound complex, or you can say mixed sentences. My dear friends, these parts are very important for English learners. I think you can understand the difference between different types of sentences, and you can apply these in your regular sentences, regular conversation, regular writing, and everywhere. My dear friends, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much.